From the Edo period to the Meiji era, Esashi thrived on the cypress and herring trade, and the prosperity of the town was so reputed, the phrase, "Even Edo is not as busy as Esashi in May," was coined. That prosperity was brought by the Kitamae ships. 3,000 boats departing, 3,000 boats arriving. Many Kitamae ships braved the heavy seas in search of Ezo and the port of Esashi. Esashi is one of Hokkaido's oldest port towns. Even now, many old buildings, such as merchants' houses and warehouses, remain in the town, reminding us of the Kitamae ships trading. Esashi's development began in the middle of the Edo period, when the Matsumae clan made Esashi one of its trading ports, along with Matsumae and Hakodate. Kamome Island, off the coast of Esashi. This island provided a fine natural harbor in which to anchor the Kitamae ships. At first, the cypress timber was the main merchandise to be traded. The Matsumae clan established an administrative office in Esashi and controlled the logging of cypress that grew there. This administrative office was established on the site where the former Hiyama Nishigun administrative office now stands. The gates to the office were relocated and currently remain as the main gates of the Hokkeiji Temple. Subsequent forest fires put an end to the cypress trade, which was then replaced by the herring trade. The fish were not only processed for food, such as dried herring and the like, but were also processed into fertilizer necessary for the cultivation of cotton and indigo and shipped to Honshu. This trading utilized Kitamae ships, whose owners purchased goods at ports on the coasts of the Seto Inland Sea and Sea of Japan and sold them for profits in other places. Everyday goods, such as rice, alcohol, and cotton, were brought to Esashi. Of the merchants involved in the Kitamae ship trading, those known as Omi merchants, from what is currently Shiga Prefecture, were particularly active. During the peak of the trade conducted by the Kitamae ships, when there were said to be 3,000 boats departing, 3,000 boats arriving, many ship owners and wealthy merchants lived in Esashi, and the town was brimming with people, merchandise, and vigor. What's more, traditional lifestyles and traditional folk arts, such as the roots of the Esashi Oiwake, arrived from Honshu. The former Nakamura family residence, a designated important cultural heritage of Japan. It is built mainly from cypress timber, and the foundations are made from shakadani stone transported by the Kitamae ships from Fukui Prefecture. This building was built by Omi merchant Yuhei Ohashi, who traded in marine products at the time. It is a structure representative of the merchants' buildings in Esashi. In order to protect the goods and documents in storage, the warehouse was fitted with quadruple doors. The slope is lined with 4 buildings, alongside which a passageway known as a tori niwa runs. On the side nearest the sea, a building known as a hanidashi stands, with a door through which the goods could be transported directly from the shore. At the time, the sea came right up to the hanidashi, and the merchants' houses stood side by side. Interesting characters can be found among the old documents. The kanji for herring is usually written like this, but in Esashi, it was written like this. The Matsumae clan could not grow rice, but because the clan's wealth was based on herring, it was therefore said that herring was not just a fish. Herring fishing was the key industry there in the same way that rice production was elsewhere in Japan. Herring was such an important source of income. The Kitamae ships not only transported everyday necessities, they also brought important equipment and refined culture. The fishing bosses and merchants held haiku poem meetings while they waited for the shoals of herring to arrive. Miki Saburo Rai, a philosopher at the end of the Edo period, left behind the Esashi Hasho, odes he composed with 7 other writers about the scenic spots in and around the Esashi area. Painted on the ceiling of the Hokkeiji temple is a dragon that stares at you regardless of where you are standing. The dragon is said to be the work of Ike no Taiga, the master of the Bunjinga school of painting. People gathered from all around Japan, and different kinds of cultures were brought to Esashi. Vestiges of those cultural heritage remain in the town to this day. In the latter half of the Meiji era, late 1800s to the early 1900s, the herring that had supported Esashi's economy for so long gradually became harder to catch and finally disappeared from Esashi's shores in 1913. The merchants also left Esashi, and the chance of the fishermen became a distant memory. Now, only the streetscapes that remain in Esashi remind us of the herring.